Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for your regular dose of Asian health information.
So wrinkle cream can work, but it really depends on what is used as its key star ingredient in the wrinkle cream. It really depends on the ingredient choice as well as where you got the wrinkle cream from. So something OTC, or what I meant over the counter, as opposed to a prescription grade cream from the doctor's office, can be very different in terms of its effect. Again, wrinkle cream can also be sensitizing as well. Sometimes these wrinkle creams are anti-aging creams that contain certain products like retinols or retinoids, and this may not be suitable for all skin types. So again, I would caution that these wrinkle creams can potentially cause issues as well, and I will use it with caution. So that's the one with retinol or retinoids. There are other anti-wrinkle creams. Certain eye creams have different products inside, and they absolutely work well as well. They can be anti-aging, and they can also help to hydrate the skin. I think that Vaseline is great for chapped lips. It's one of the very sort of clean lip balms that you can absolutely utilize. I get patients to apply that 3-4 times a day, especially if they're dry skin conditions, what we call cheilitis or cracked lips. So Vaseline is very clean, so it really does help to repair some of these very dry, fissured lips. I think the age you start using skincare products will be probably the age that you start developing acne. I think most people that come and see me in their teenage years, when they start getting outbreaks, start getting oil secretion around the T-zone area, they start developing congestion of the oil glands. I think this is a time that most of them will start using at least a cleanser and at least using something to try to clear out the acne as well. Again, they usually continue on to adulthood with a different skincare regime. So if the acne phase is over and they move into a more normal skin type in their 20s, then they would typically already have been used to using a cleanser, using a toner, and sometimes using a moisturizer as well. It's just about switching between the various types to get it optimized to the current skin condition. Diet absolutely can affect eczema flare-ups. It is really hard to tell exactly what food substances causes the eczema flare-up. Sometimes patients with atopic dermatitis or childhood eczema also have a concurrent food allergy. And so oftentimes parents will come and tell you that, hey, I'm very certain that when my child eats, let's say, prawns or shellfish for that matter, that eczema tends to act out, gets worse within the same day or the next day. So typically, this may be already a suggestion that they may actually be intolerant in that sense, or the eczema may actually be triggered by the food substance. So sometimes keeping a food diary can be useful, or we can even do certain tests like a skin prick test to try to elucidate what foods typically cause that flare-ups. Pulling back your hair can absolutely cause something called traction alopecia and can cause a form of hair thinning, as I mentioned. So traction alopecia typically happens to people who tend to braid their hairs, or in certain African American types where they used to use corn braids and pleat their hairs down very tight, they typically at a greater risk of developing traction alopecia. That is really thinning that happens really over the frontal area. It's due to pullback, high tension, and typically in Asian context with straighter hairs, it may be women who bun their hairs up very tightly or tie their hair back in a very tight ponytail. So when I see patients, especially females, who come in for the issue of hair loss, and you sort of like go through their, their hairstyling options and what they typically wear on a normal day, and they tell you that, oh, they absolutely bun back and pull back very tightly, you tell them to actually have to use a looser style, like a loose bun, let their hair down for a bit, because that constant pressure or pull on the hair roots tends to send a signal to the hair roots to release the hair follicles ahead of time. I think that male pattern baldness is something that is pretty common, and oftentimes people will watch and notice that maybe even their parents or their uncles have had male pattern hair loss. Typically there is a certain pattern to it, and hence it's coined male pattern hair loss. The most common pattern will be an M-shaped pattern where there is receding hairline anteriorly over the frontal hairline, and also another common pattern where they find that there's a shiny bald spot that opens up right at the crown or at the top of the head. So that's the second common pattern. Usually typically, as the hair loss progresses, there is extension of these areas of loss. So the M-shaped pattern becomes more evident. It starts to recede backwards and it starts to open up on top and join up with the circular area on the top of the scalp as well. And so a whole entire sort of ball alley opens up. And they find that afterwards just a horseshoe-shaped ring. So that's typically how the various stages of male pattern hair loss evolve.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for your regular dose of Asian health information.